Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. The topic of this 10-minute moan is something that's completely ridiculous that's been posted on Twitter or X by a current MSP who is a SNP member, right? So bear in mind, we're in the middle of an election just now, and actually there's only two things that have happened here. They've either broke the law or they're talking shite, right? And I'm not sure which one is worse for them. But just to give it some context, we are currently going through an election campaign, and this SNP MSP Clare Hockey, who is MSP for the Rutherglen area, has been out canvassing with who looks like her friend Katie Loudon, who's the SNP candidate for the MP's role for Rutherglen, right? And she's put out on Twitter, I can't remember if it was today or last night, it was yesterday at 4:39 p.m. She put out a tweet with a picture of her and Katie in one of their cars, and they've got their SNP rosette on, so they're obviously been out campaigning. And it says, postal votes have been arriving, and Katie Loudon SNP and I were delighted to hear how many in Blantyre have already been returned with SNP X on the ballot paper. Now, I've been asking about, because I don't know electoral rules and regulations inside out. So I've been asking about people who know a bit more than me, people that have been like MPs and people who have been like MSPs, etc. To say to them, do the parties or individuals that are up for selection get a running commentary on how ballot papers that are used in postal votes are being returned? And the answer I got was no, right? It just doesn't happen. So if this tweet is true, then how can they possibly know how many ballot papers are being returned with a big X on the ballot paper next to SNP? So let's just take it as being true first of all, and then we'll look at the ramifications of it being false, the tweet being false, right? Well, the ramifications of it being true are quite scary, because somebody somewhere is evidently given an SNP candidate information that they simply shouldn't have. That's a bit scary. I don't know if I'm actually prepared to accept that's happening in the country that I was born and live in, because that's the sort of thing that you hear from very scary countries, like totalitarian countries. I suppose that is us now, isn't it? So I shouldn't be so scared. But I'm still not prepared to accept it as true. I cannot really consider that inside the United Kingdom, during an election, secret ballot papers that are being posted back, the results of them are being disclosed illegally to anybody, never mind the most decrepit party in the history of UK politics, right? It's a notion that I'm not happy to accept, and I'm perfectly happy to accept I might be wrong, but I'm quite uncomfortable spouting that as true, that this is what's happened here. But I might be wrong. So the other thing we've got to consider is, has this hockey lady put out an untruth? Clare Hockey's put this out. Is it untrue? And she doesn't know how many X's have been returned in ballot papers by postal voters. Well, that's equally as bizarre, because what that's trying to do is influence the outcome of an election by making people think, oh, here we go, everybody's voting SNP, so they can't be that bad, so I'll just jump on. And what I've seen recently, since the campaign started, there's obviously been an instruction from SNP headquarters to get everybody that's a candidate to take one photo a day at least of them out in the streets and post it and put shite on it like, we're getting a great reception in Tillybody, right? Outstanding on the doors in Priest Hill, right? Every day, timelines on social media are full of these photographs with candidates out with a handful of people, sometimes not even any, just themselves in a leaflet. And every one of them says the same thing, getting a great response at the doors. People hate the Tories, people hate Starmer, right? What a shite. Everybody's talking about independence. No, they aren't, right? So it's obvious that that's been an instruction handed down by HQ. And something else that's happened over the last few days, I'm thinking this is coordinated, right? This is a total bam up. It's people, when they're posting back their postal vote, they have to take a photograph of it having an X next to SNP to make everybody think the whole world's voting for SNP. Well, that would be if you lead your whole life on Twitter and the likes, and you don't actually talk to people in the real world. And before you start your pish, right, yes, I'm a unionist, but I do talk to, and it's there on plenty of my videos, actually interviewing and giving loads of time and space to nationalists. Because actually, I don't mind nationalists. I don't agree with them, but I don't mind them. What I hate is the nationalist cult. And the nationalist cult, I can see, is a completely different thing for a normal nationalist that just fancies Scotland being independent, right? And I'm a fucking living lunatic about it. So I do spend a lot of time with nationalists who I will talk to and they will listen to me, right? And they'll talk to me and I'll listen to them. But so you can't go and go, he's just a nationalist hater, he's going to spout that anyway. So there's this campaign that's evidently get out in the streets and take a photo a day and stick it over social media and talk shite. And this new campaign that's getting all the members to take the photo of their postal vote before they post it back. Look at us, everybody's voting SNP. So this Claire Hawkey post where she's claiming postal votes have been arriving, and Katie Loudon and I were delighted to hear how many in Blantyre have been returned with SNPX in the ballot paper, right? This just seems like an exaggeration. The next step in this, take a photograph of the polling paper, okay? So, to summarise, I actually don't believe that some underhand way they're getting information from returned postal votes, right? I'd love to have a conspiracy theory that, you know, they were getting some underhand information. It might be true, but probability is it's not. It's just the SNP talking shite. Again, this is a theory that is easily proven and a theory that is more probable because that's what they do, okay? So Katie and Claire, have a lovely wee day today because you're probably out holding hands, skipping through the borough of Rutherglen, putting leaflets out, and I look forward to your next bullshit post telling us how everybody in the world is voting SNP. When I will put good money on it with anybody willing to take the bet that the SNP's portion of votes in the Scottish seats will be 30-something. It will start with a 3. That's the percentage of votes you get. But what you're trying to portray out there on the streets is everybody's voting SNP. No, they aren't. Because if everybody was voting SNP, you wouldn't be out begging them. You would be smiling, waiting for the 4th of July. But you're not. You're out there with your begging bowls. Not seen any of your crowd funds for a while. Did they all fail miserably? Actually not seen that. You have stopped putting them about. Wonder why. I doubt they've all hit their targets. Because you're skint. And see this postage stamp thing, this is just, the postage stamp thing bothers me, right? But it's not the fact that you're robbing more money, because it's not by millions of pounds, right? It's just put out there, but it shows a willingness to rob the public purse, and it's a total blaseness of the way you handle it that does man up. And you know, the tweets, I put them out on Twitter the other day, I think I got them out, somebody sent them on the Daily Record or Sunday Mail or something. I know the tweets, the WhatsApp conversations with your office managers, or that wee winking and all that, or they're handy for having these slush for a campaign coming up and all that. You actually don't care. You don't care about rules and regulations unless it's somebody out with your party that's breaking them. That's the bit that disturbs me most about this stamp. In the whole scheme of things, it's a piss amount of money, but it shouldn't happen. But it's a blaseness. It's the exact same feeling I got when the WhatsApp messages that they all thought they were deleted started coming out in the COVID inquiry, and it's all that, you know, this is my bedtime regime, deleting WhatsApps, and deniability is my middle name and all that shit, right? To show the Scottish public total contempt when these are just bending rules to suit yourself. And I've got a prediction, and I'm quite happy to make this public as well. See, once this election's over, and you've got a lot of MPs who have had cushy numbers representing the SNP and they don't have them anymore, watch what happens next. Watch what happens next. because the ones in there that have been a bit pissed off will certainly not need to protect the party anymore. There'll be more and more people that are civil servants and the likes coming out, and they'll have stories about bullying, etc. There'll be ex-SNP MPs quite happy to share their stories. And that's when the fun really starts. And see whatever the piss poor result you get in Westminster, be even worse come Holyrood, because the Scottish public will see even more of your decrepit acts. Anyway, that's the 10-minute moan over. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you've not already done so, please subscribe. Most importantly of all, Jane Lesher, Claire Hockey, Katie Loudon, or any of these crackpots in the SNP that are trying to bamboozle us and make us believe that everybody's out voting for them. See them in the cult? Bin that. See everybody else that's not in the cult are these two cranks. Have a great day. Cheery bye now.